This is my audience. They've consented. Okay. As the sun greets me while I'm laying on the beach of Ho Long Bay, I look up at the limestone islets in the bay, and it looks like something from a different planet. Next, I hop on a motorbike to go to the near city to try the best street side pho I've ever had. Pinch me, I must be dreaming. And I am dreaming. I'm dreaming about going to visit Vietnam. And now the world is full of diverse and cultural places that you can go visit. And if you want a challenge to go to a different country and visit Vietnam, it's full of adventure. Now there's differing opinions regarding Vietnam, so I'm going to talk about different aspects and you can decide for yourself if you want to go visit. Now I've never been, but I've done a lot of research because I've been wanting to go to visit. And so I think it's very important that you go and learn about the different cultures of Vietnam. Now there's three main aspects that I want to talk to you guys about. And that is the culture, the geography, and the tourism of Vietnam. First, let's talk about the culture. It's very important to understand the different traditions of a country when you go and visit so you can be respectful of that country. Even though a lot of countries these days are very Americanized, they still value their traditions and their history. So according to the website Vietnamese Customs, Cultures, and Quirks, one of the main things that I found very interesting about Vietnam was how friendly they made the people sound. They're very known for being very friendly, very open, and very personal with you. Now, so don't be surprised when someone tries to hold your hand in Vietnam. It's very common for someone of the same sex to hold your hand. It just means that they're accepting you and want to be your friend. What's not uncommon, and it's kind of looked down upon, is if people of the opposite sex hold hands. They're not really big on public displays of affection, so they don't really approve of that. Another thing that they do is that Americans don't really do is they ask a lot of personal questions when they first meet you. We're not used to that. We kind of start with small talk and build up to that. And the reason why they ask you a lot of personal questions is they want to know how to introduce you, they want to know how to address you, and they want to know your status. And how they measure your status is through your age and education. And when they know your status, they'll know how to greet you. And how they greet in Vietnam is that they shake both your hands and you slightly bow. And if you're greeting someone who's older than you, you need to use the phrase thea, which means please. It's just out of respect to someone who's older. Now, according to Pamela Laborde, and on her website, Vietnamese Culture Profile, she talks about a lot of the clothing and manners that you need to have when you're at Vietnam. Women definitely need to dress conservative when they go visit. If you wear a lot of makeup and dress not very modestly, a lot of times they'll mistake you as a prostitute, which will give you no respect if you go visit Vietnam. Another thing, if you look at the website Vietnam Cultural Etiquette on the Diplomat website, they talk a lot about how you eat when you go visit. If you go eat in a Vietnamese house, make sure when you're eating you need to hold that bowl. You need to hold your rice bowl and eat it with your hands. It's a sign of laziness if you eat from the table. And here's some people, some Vietnam people, some children in the background. And another thing that Vietnam is kind of known for through the media and Hollywood is the conical hat. And there's been a lot of movies with this, and it's kind of a symbol of Vietnam. Now, people in rural Vietnam mostly wear it, but it's kind of a sign of their country. So it's a really cool kind of historical hat that they have. But the next thing I want to talk about is kind of the geography of if you go visit Vietnam. Pamela Laborde, again, on her Vietnamese Cultural Profile website, does a great job describing this. There's about 80 million people in Vietnam. That's a lot of people. It's a huge country. But again, remember that they're very friendly. It's super diverse. There's 53 ethnic minorities within this country. So you kind of need to know their culture, understand all the values of the different ethnic groups. But that makes it kind of difficult to travel since there's so many different language barriers. Of course, the majority of the population is Vietnamese. But according to Windows of Asia on the Michigan State University website, they talk a lot about the different landscapes of Vietnam. And that's what I think is really cool about this country, because it's so different. They have various landscapes, which include mountains, forests, lowlands, and coastal regions, which is important to know because there's going to be different weather if they have different landscapes. The Vietnamese Culture and Tradition website do a great job of giving you tips on what's going on with the weather in Vietnam. Up north they can have very frosty winters, but then down in the Delta it can be warm, subtropical all year long. So you need to know what to wear. So now I've kind of talked about the culture and the area of Vietnam. What is there to do? And Nomadic Mike has a great blog. It's called the Vietnam Travel Guide. And he shares a lot of cool places that you can visit. Now there's so many different places, but I'm just going to do 3 main ones. The first one is the Chu Chai tunnels, and what I find really cool about these is that during the Vietnam War, the Viet Cong used these tunnels to travel throughout Vietnam, and they're these very extensive tunnels that you can actually go down and explore for yourself. It's not like a normal museum where you go and just read things. You can actually explore these tunnels and see all the history of that. So that would be a great place to go visit. Also, Paul Smith on Everything You Need to Know About Vietnam has a great blog about the Ho Long Bay, what I talked about in the beginning. You can see these beautiful limestone islets and islands throughout the bay, which are great to kind of explore. You can scuba dive, snorkel. It's a great place to go and visit. Just a beautiful area. Another place is the rice paddies, which is kind of in the Mekong Delta area. And these have beautiful colors too, and you can kind of just explore that area. Just the landscape of Vietnam is absolutely beautiful. Another cool thing about Vietnam is they have a lot of cheap street food that you can have that's still very good. Their main dish is the pho bo, which is a beef noodle soup, and they eat that a lot for breakfast. But you can eat it anytime you want. It's a great place to find on the streets, very cheap. So just talking about Vietnam and learning about it, do you think your time is worth to go visit? And I definitely think Vietnam is a challenge, but definitely worth going to go visit. A lot of people want to go to Europe and backpack through that. It's very industrialized, Americanized, but I think Vietnam has a very authentic culture that you can definitely go visit. So as young people, it's important to experience a different country and culture. So go out and explore, go learn about a different country, and maybe even try out Vietnam. Thank you. Yeah, how much did I go over? Oh, here are my note cards. And my audience is still here. All right, thank you.